10 o'clock, it's Fox 10 Talks. Ron and Celeste, and the pictures coming in, some of the latest images from Venezuela are really somewhat mind-boggling. I mean, you take a look right here, and we've had live cameras in the kind of the heart of Caracas, but if you go down toward the oceanfront property, this is what you see, and you can understand how it is that the death toll is growing dramatically. This time yesterday morning, we were talking about a little more than 100 confirmed dead, but there are so many buildings that are collapsed, and the fears are that the death toll, which, by the way, now is approaching 600, that's in terms of confirmed bodies. And there are reports even of desperate relatives not really waiting to see what a rescue crews can do. They're digging themselves, trying to get into the rubble where they know a son or a daughter or a mother, a father, a sister, or a brother might be trapped and yet still alive. We do always, after massive catastrophes like this one, we always get those few moments of hope, and we're certainly hoping to hear several of those today. Also today, on Fox 10 Talks, there is another three stories that we think you'll be interested in. 6 steps toward a better marriage. Even if you think you've got a pretty good marriage right now, it's very difficult to reach 10 out of 10. Celeste, have you ever noticed that?
It can be very difficult. Yeah.
You're right.
But once you pass that first pillar, right, you set the foundation.
Yes.
Well, there's only 5 more to go.
There you go. 5 big steps. It's so interesting that you brought that up, Celeste, because the relationship experts that we have on later this hour have 6 pillars.
Yes.
They say if we can just follow these 6 steps or these pillars, you can have just a beautiful relationship like back when you first fell in love. Also, Shanna Bream, as she does every Friday, we're going to hear from her. Will America become a socialist country, or at least get closer to that? And Gen Z wants chalant, not nonchalant relationships. And so we're going to be talking, what the heck is a chalant relationship anyway?
It's not nonchalant.
See, the double negative. Okay, so let's get started here with our the latest video that's come in now from Venezuela. They took a drone, Celeste, and they flew right over the oceanfront property right there. And the images that you just saw really are quite incredible. So here's what we have learned since this time yesterday morning. The death toll officially at 589. Dulce Rodriguez, the leader of that country, says that the number of injured is around 3,000. Wow. And we still, I think it's too early in the process to really be able to confirm how many people are still missing.
Yeah.
So, again, we just don't know that number, but the fear is, it's so strange that you had a big 7.2 quake, and the next thing you know, you have a bigger quake. Usually it's an aftershock that's a little bit less. So from a 7.2 to a 7.5, and you can just feel the heartbreak. I mean, I heard one woman saying, I'm just desperate. I have to find my son. And this is probably something being experienced by thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah.
They don't know. There are shelters that have been set up all over the city, all over the country. But they don't know if a loved one got trapped in the rubble somewhere, or if they are still alive and, power goes down, cell phone communication goes down. It's just a really desperate situation.
Well, I mean, look at this image right here where you have all of that concrete rubble just piled on top of each other. And then you have to remove all that to find any potential survivors underneath. So it can be heartbreaking. And many of you have chimed in the chat box. And like John Pierce, he says, prayers to the survivors searching for loved ones and neighbors. And thank you for everyone in the chat this morning. We always love this community that has been built, Ron, by all of you. You all kind of start to chat and welcome people in and kind of police the chat yourselves, and we love that. So thank you for sharing a part of your lives with us.
That is one aspect we love. You get a troll on there, boom, you're off.
Everybody else is like, get this person out of here.
We call it the friendliest chat online for a reason. Now, if you haven't seen this next video, I'm going to roll it. You'll actually hear what it was like inside a plane. This is the strangest video because we've all been on planes where it starts rocking,
right?
And you're up there at 36,000 feet in the air and you hit turbulence. This was literally turbulence on the tarmac.
Yeah, it's pretty
This
crazy.
is what it was like to be inside a plane as this whole thing started to happen. This is video taken by a doctor who was on board. Watch this now. So,
oh my goodness, that is quite jarring.
Yeah,
wow.
It really is. And the video continues. Look at this. Now all of a sudden you have other people that were exiting the terminal, people who were working the ramp, etc. I don't know what that guy was in the silver suit right there, but maybe there were concerns about fire, etc. And the thing is, this airport had to be shut down because there was so much damage there. I do think that maybe building standards are not quite as high in other countries as they are here in the U.S. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, they have been dealing with it, but you can imagine how frightening would that be to be inside that plane. You don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no kidding. Here's the video again. Dr. Victor Manrique shared it, and he said that they were waiting to depart Simón Bolívar International Airport. This is near Caracas, there in Venezuela, and so they had some ground-level turbulence. This is video inside. It looks like the airport, or portions of it anyway, and wow, what a mess. So they were jolted in their seats. This was a couple of days ago. This was on June 24th when it first hit, and pretty scary stuff. I mean, you got to imagine, though, in an earthquake situation, maybe people who are actually flying in the sky in the airplane, I wonder if they felt anything, you know, the atmosphere kind of shift.
And, you know, I'm thinking now, I mean, you look, the airport looks almost immediately deserted.
Yeah.
So somehow, probably weren't even workers there to get the jetway back out. Thankfully, somebody, I assume, had some stairs they could move up toward the plane and get people off. But it probably took a while, and then you're in the airport, and you're feeling like you're in the twilight zone. There's nobody around. There's damage everywhere.
It looks like it's completely deserted. So, unfortunately, the death toll continues to climb, and we'll continue to have the latest on that for sure.
Hey, if you are going to be up in the Sedona area, look at that picture right there. Wow. I mean, you're right up at the top there, and you're looking down into Oak Creek Canyon.
Oh, you're on the top of the switchbacks here.
You're right there at 89A, and look how difficult. And Crystal's concerned about it. She was talking about it this morning on the morning show, saying, look, if these wind gusts of 30 to 40 or more miles an hour do hit around the pocket fire in that Sedona area, it could get worse.
Well, you know, when I was living up in Flagstaff, I covered a lot of wildfires, and one of the big concerns was most of Sedona. We spoke with the Chamber of Commerce president, is open. You can visit Sedona, Village of Oak Creek right now. It's the area north of Sedona's Main Street, all like Grasshopper Point area, that's closed, all the way north to the top of the switchbacks, which is the top of the plateau, to Forest Highlands, if you're familiar with that. But when I was living in Flagstaff, I covered a lot of wildfires, and one of the big concerns was a fire starting in this part of the state because the fires tend to move to the northeast with the winds and the direction that the winds are moving. Yeah. And so right now there's zero containment on this pocket fire, unfortunately, but the top of the switchbacks, if you've never driven this way, it is one of the most beautiful scenic drives in the entire country.
And yet now you have all that burn.
Yeah, you
So
do.
as you go up through it, there's still going to be the beauty of the red rocks, but a lot of this forest land is being destroyed.
And the
It's
hard thing is,
heartbreaking.
it's so rugged right now, and that's why it's at 0% containment, because they're having to fight it, of course, maybe with a few crews on the ground, but mostly by air.
Yeah.
And so folks who live down in Oak Creek Canyon, there's a place called, if you're familiar with Garland's, it's called Orchard Canyon now. It's
Oh,
like a
yeah,
bed
I
and
stayed
breakfast.
there once.
So did we.
Oh, pretty fancy,
They have these
Celeste.
little cabins, and it's bed and breakfast. It was years ago, though. But there, I believe, closed. A couple of other hotels and bed and breakfasts all through Oak Creek Canyon are closed. All those campgrounds, Pine Flat, which is absolutely beautiful, that's closed. And so we're watching the development on that fire, of course.
Let's do this before we hit the break here. If you haven't seen this, if you're looking for some good news, now let's get to it.
Yeah.
There's a guy who's driving a van into a crime scene in the UK.
Okay.
The officer, and you're going to get to see this and hear this. Check this out now. The officer is yelling at the suspect to quit running and put his hands up. Guy comes by in a van and says, "Hey, get in, hop in, let's go."
Down by the river.
Yeah. And so watch what happens. This is a good Samaritan who drives right up into the crime scene, helps out. It's pretty remarkable. Watch and listen to this.
Oh, police! Stay where you are! Oh, police, stay there! Running down the hill towards the viaduct.
Get in back, get in back.
Go, 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 go. I'm going. Go, go, go. Cheers, buddy. Follow that police officer. Go first.
Look at that.
How about this whole situation?
Keep going past.
I mean, talk about being in the right place at the right time. Officers were investigating an assault, and the guy was trying to run away from him. The van driver springs into action, and we have a successful arrest going on right here.
Well, what a good
you hear him?
Samaritan.
Can you hear him? Yeah, he's like, okay, get your hands up right now. And so he is caught and arrested. And there's the handshake.
Yeah,
to wrap it
he's
all
like-
up.
Thanks very much for your assistance.
Well, let's listen here.
Yeah.
See you later. Hope the rest of your day is a bit calmer. Yeah. Cheers, guys.
How great.
Cheers, guys.
So
And
great.
thank you for your assistance. It's such a great story.
Yeah, and so he has been recommended for a commendation for his quick actions, and he is the Crime Stopper of the day
Yes.
in the UK. So, Celeste, coming up next here on AZAM, we have a doctor who's really concerned.
FTT.
Oh, FTT. Whatever.
Ron, we're going to have to start. Big D, we got to bring a bleep. We got beeper.
Yeah, there you go. We have a doctor coming on, really concerned about measles, what you need to know. Apparently,
Yes.
there's been, another case right here in the valley.
All
But
right,
first-
more on that. Yeah, we're going to take a look here now. This is a preview of your mystery camera. We'll be right back. What a great story, that guy.
Isn't it so cool?
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. All right, welcome back. Ron and Celeste hanging out with you here on Fox 10 Talk. Celeste, you're seeing plenty of comments from our folks today.
We get a lot of people, and they're already chiming in on the mystery camera, but we want to give all of you a big shout out this morning because Linda Monterth is here. She had to head out for a funeral this morning, but she says wonderful rain here yesterday afternoon in her part of Arizona.
Thatcher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Louis Gonzalez is on. Thomas Favela is also here this morning, and people are sharing some of their thoughts about the fire that's in north of Sedona and Oak Creek Canyon.
Sure.
John Pierce is here this morning.
Hi, John.
And Louis Gonzalez says he got a bit of rain here yesterday afternoon. That was in Pima.
Yep, right next
Arizona.
to Thatcher. That's
yeah.
right.
So good morning and welcome on in, and share your thoughts in the chat about any of the stories that we have going on, and we can share them.
Hey, we are going to bring on an expert now. This is Dr. Anahita Dua. She is the chair of Healthcare for Action, and she's concerned about this latest measles case, Celeste. So let's do that right now. Doctor, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
What is your greatest concern about this latest case? And I guess by virtue of the fact that it was at the airport, that kind of raises the number of people who might have been exposed, yes?
That's exactly true. But you know what's the most concerning thing is actually there's been a number of news articles from Arizona where they've actually described all the places that measles has been quote unquote spotted. And it's, Chick-fil-A and a yogurt store and a baseball game. It's kind of everywhere because that's how it works. And so, of course, the airport's a huge deal because if someone's breathing and you were to walk right next to them and you're not vaccinated, the chances of you catching measles is really high. But you can think of an ice cream store, a kid's baseball game. There are going to be children there too. So that's, I think, the most concerning thing about it, how quickly it's all over the place.
So let's say hypothetically you were at one of those locations, Dr. Dua, or you happen to be at Sky Harbor Airport on that particular day. What should you be aware of and look out for? And I know a lot of people are already vaccinated for measles, but what should we be aware of?
Great question. So first of all, let's talk about that vaccination thing, because if you are vaccinated against measles, then your chances of anything happening to you are incredibly low. And that's because the way that the vaccine works is you develop kind of response. You've trained your body to be able to handle it. So if you get exposed again, your body's ready to go. If you aren't vaccinated or you're immunocompromised or maybe a kid that's not vaccinated, then the issue is that 9 out of 10 people who are not vaccinated who get exposed to it will actually get the disease. So if you were in that particular situation, the biggest thing to do is to watch yourself for symptoms. If you have a rash that's unexplained, if you have a very high temperature, if your eyes change color like really red and runny, then you do need to contact a public health official and then kind of go from there.
So what if you had a vaccine when you were a kid and now you're 40 years old or 50 years old? Are you still protected?
You are. That's the beauty of the vaccine. Normally, you get 2 of them when you're a child, and they're a little bit apart from each other, a couple of months apart from each other. And with that, you can have protection of up to 97%. There's nothing that's 100%, of course. But even if you were to contract it, of course, the level of attack that your body would get would be lower than if you weren't vaccinated. It's just a lot of words to say that, even RFK has come out very clearly and said, for this one thing, for measles, the vaccine is the way to go.
There's a question in the chat from Thomas Favela. He says, why not keep infected in isolation? Is the issue that sometimes people, let's just say hypothetically, this recent case at Sky Harbor Airport, they're walking through the airport and they really don't know that they've been infected until it's later, until they're home. And then, so maybe that could be the case?
That's almost 100%. I mean, I hope that human beings are better than that they knew they had measles and they walked around an airport, but I guess, these days, who knows? But I will say that the likelihood that someone potentially was exposed or infected and then they maybe didn't know they had it for a little bit is possible because if you are exposed to measles and you actually were to get it, it can stay in your body before it shows symptoms for up to 21 days. So almost a month. So it's completely possible that somebody got the exposure, got the disease, but then didn't realize it, and technically would have been able to spread it for the last 21 days. And then they contact public health, and then public health says, oh crap, you were at the airport at this time.
Yeah.
We got to take care of business.
All right. If people want to connect with you, tell us about Healthcare for Action, what you guys do, and how they can reach out.
Absolutely. So Healthcare for Action is an organization that's really run by healthcare workers, where we try to reach out and educate people about the best candidates for them in the healthcare space. We actually are doing quite a bit of work in Arizona with a couple of the primaries that are going on there, because there are a couple of doctors that are, and a nurse actually, that are excellent candidates. And we sort of talk about how they fit into the political landscape. So if you want to check us out, just jump online and check our website out. And I'm, of course, always happy to talk to anyone who's interested.
Dr. Dua,
Excellent.
you've been amazing.
Okay, I'm going to quit referring to my Rolodex because everybody mocks me. But we're keeping you
On our favorites list. On our favorites list.
For sure.
By the way, are you a fan of Dua Lipa? Dr.
Of
Dua?
course.
There you go.
I'm the hotter version, of course, but that's okay.
I love it. Okay, talk to you again soon.
Have a great weekend.
Hey,
Thank you.
Celeste,
Bye-bye.
you know what's interesting? We were talking about the firefighting just moments ago there, the efforts in Sedona.
Right.
But let's get closer to the valley. Did you see the video that the town of Fountain Hills posted?
Yes.
Yesterday. You've got to watch and listen to this because it's pretty impressive what was going on there. Check it out. So this is along the 87, and there was an RV that caught fire, and they had a bunch of air assets up there, including one of those huge DC-10 air tankers. And this was, I think, just 2 days ago. The 87 had to be shut down for a while, but that just shows you this is a dangerous profession. They have to get close to the ground in very kind of mountainous terrain up there on the Beeline Highway.
Well, and I think this image, we're going to replay it for you again right here. When you see that plane coming towards you right here, at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see the wildland firefighter. You have that going on the ground. You have the air tanker up above, and then you see that car zipping through. Can you imagine being that driver in that car going, oh my gosh. And, you know, they had to let people out of there.
Good point.
You know, at some point. So people were actually, right next to this thing as it's dropping fire retardant.
I tell you, this is another category of heroes we don't talk often enough about. But these pilots of these air tankers, boy, do they do a job.
Yeah.
I mean, I get nervous just watching a crop duster, Celeste. Serious. You know, because they come swooping down low on the crops there at the East Valley kind of a thing.
They're heroes, too. We got to eat, Ron.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so here's one of the big questions of the morning. It certainly surprised me when I came in and I heard, okay, well, Iran, you know, they're at it again, the warmongers over there, and they fired a drone or multiple drones at a ship. And so President says it was multiple drones and it was very foolish what they did. And so I expected the price of oil to be up dramatically. Well, it's actually down about $3 a barrel. It spiked up a little bit yesterday. Matter of fact, I think we might have, here's what's going on right now. The Dow's started the day down 250, but then everybody calmed down and they realized what's really going on is that more of the strait is opening. Saudi Arabia just started loading their oil tankers, and that's a huge amount of oil that's going to be coming onto the market. And so it looks to me like oil wants to settle in that $68, $69 range, which is fine with me, Celeste, because that should bring gas back down to roughly about $3.
I think that we need to bring on like some of those investigators that President Trump has put on, these oil companies, because they're supposed to, with the price of oil dropping, we should also see the price of the pump come down as well.
It should be happening faster.
Come on.
We have a Circle K by our studios, and I drive by it every day, and I'm like, okay, well, they're at $3.79, but then that's if you're a Circle K Circle member.
Right.
So $3.89 for everybody
Ron,
else.
this image right here, do you think these guys hop hop out of their boat and they're like, "Hey, good morning!" Like they're so close to each other.
I think they're probably sharing bagels and orange juice.
I mean,
some of those ships have been stranded for close to 100 days.
I mean, what's going on? We need like a firsthand account of what these guys are doing on board these ships.
I just feel like in our intelligence people, they need to figure out who is it inside Iran, specifically inside the IRGC, that keeps doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
When you have the actual leaders of the country trying to negotiate a long-term deal.
That's a problem with the country that is having issues with leadership.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That nobody knows what is happening.
Yeah. No kidding.
No, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Everybody thinks that person's in control. No, I'm in control.
That's right.
It's like, you know what? Get it together.
It's like you and me battling for control on the streaming show here. But in reality, we have a leader.
Big
Our
D.
beloved leader is Big D. How you doing, D?
It's fantastic. How about you guys?
We're doing
great.
good. I'm just here hanging on Ron's coattails. I've told him that plenty of times,
Come
Dave.
on.
I'm just here like, Ron, what's happening?
Celeste, come on. But Dave's coming up here in a few minutes. We're going to be the new trend is called chalant, not nonchalant, chalant relationships. So we're going to explain how each of us have our own chalant relationships.
That's true.
That's coming up. But before we go to break, Celeste, can we just enjoy all the excitement of World Cup pandemonium? Ready? This is Kansas City, Missouri, just yesterday.
Thank you.
All right, so this is the Netherlands, and they had their viral waves, the Sea of Orange in Kansas City, flooding the city center with chants, flags, and their orange bus. And I'm telling you, some of these teams, some of these countries are just having a great time.
Oh,
Just
my
a
gosh.
great time.
They really are, and they're loving America.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I think the TSA or I think the ranch companies were trying to figure out a way to like create these 3-ounce bottles. They could carry them through TSA. But it's like, I don't want a 3-ounce bottle.
Right.
Here's an idea for you. Pick up the packets, like the dry packets of ranch.
Okay.
And just take that home and mix it with mayo and with milk. All right, here's your mystery camera this morning. And I know plenty of you put your guesses in there, but throw it back in there. And we can't wait to hear what you have to share. And Ron's going to share his geography knowledge.
There you are. And also, Shannon Bream, are we headed a little closer toward a socialist model in the USA? It's all coming up.
All right, welcome back, everyone. 10:30 this morning, and this is your mystery camera. Where in the world do you think this is? John Pierce is coming through this morning in the chat with Duluth. Burger Boy says Detroit. Thomas Favola says Mykonos. So maybe it's in Greece, Ron? What do you think?
I feel like if you're in Greece, you don't have that kind of New England clapboard-looking house that you're walking up to after a long, hard day's work. But maybe.
Yeah, you never know.
Thomas, you're always cracking us up.
Yeah, or he says Chihuahua, which is down in Mexico. Ireland, Waterford, Ireland.
Okay.
So what do you think, Ron? What does this look like?
To me, it looks kind of New England-ish, so I think... well, let's just see. Thomas is now saying Pennsylvania. I can definitely see that. But a Michigan from a Louis. I'm looking at those smokestacks. It's so kind of crowded, which to me says New England. They didn't have a lot of zoning laws when, John Adams was running the show.
Oh, yeah. You mean 'cause that's why they're so tight up in there?
Yep, up in there. I am going to go Massachusetts.
You're going to go with Mass.
Uh-huh.
I had a girlfriend from Worcester, Mass.
Hey, by the way, John just came in with a Duluth too.
Yeah, so I'll go with Minnesota.
So we got a Minnesota, okay, and we got a Massachusetts, and here she is,
and
everybody.
Here is your mystery camera, and it is State College, PA.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Let's go back and look.
Look at that.
Corey says to me, and this picture doesn't really do it justice, because it's just somewhat randomly, it's a camera of this one guy's house.
Yeah.
Come on. Put a camera over by the football stadium where Penn State plays.
I know.
Corey McCloskey grew up maybe a 2-hour drive from here in Millersburg, PA. And he says it is such a beautiful valley, especially when you just happen to hit it. When the leaves start to turn up there in September and October. Oh. Happy Valley, they call it.
Oh, how
officially
cute.
known as State College, PA.
I bet it's beautiful there when those colors change in the trees, Beautiful summers, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So we welcome you back. So if you are brand new to the chat, and I feel like we have thousands and thousands of people streaming. Don't forget the Fox Local app is 100% free. Which actually doesn't quite make sense. 100% free, Celeste? What would 50% free?
We'd be 50% commercials.
There you go. But we welcome you to Fox 10 Talks, FTT. I chatted with Shannon Bream just a little while ago, and there were plenty of questions to ask about this it seems like there's a little bit of a surge towards socialism. We talked to her about it, and here you go. He is the host of Fox News Sunday. Hi, Shannon.
Good to see you, Ron.
Good to see you, too. Some of Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries' candidates got voted out of office this week. One winner in the Democratic primary in New York calls for the abolition of prisons and said the United States is a blanking disgrace. So let's talk about this movement. Is it starting to look like Democrats, as we focus on the next presidential campaign, are going to move past centrists, move on to like an AOC or even a Mamdani if his movement keeps growing?
Well, and that's the thing, is that does Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez look less radical now compared to people who have gone to her left? And listen, the Mayor Mamdani, he had success with that in New York, but what was happening here in D.C. all day on Wednesday, it was the older mainstream establishment Democrats who were going out there giving these interviews saying, hey, listen, we've got a big tent, but they don't speak for us. That's not the leadership of our party. It may work in New York, but that's not what we want for the rest of the country. Well, we got this election, a primary election on Tuesday in Colorado, where someone very far progressive left socialist is challenging a sitting Democrat congresswoman. So we'll see how this plays in Colorado.
What about Gavin Newsom, since we're talking about the Democrats for a minute here? Maybe the biggest name in the field. He ran California as a progressive, but do you think he could successfully rebrand himself? Or if the party is moving left, maybe he is just as centrist within the Democratic Party?
Yeah, remember we've had kind of this back and forth. Remember he started this podcast and he was having conversations saying like, okay, maybe biologically born males don't belong in female sports. Maybe we can have that conversation. He took a lot of heat anytime he kind of inched toward the center. So it begs the big question about who is going to be calling the shots for the party this fall and in 2028. You mentioned Congressman Jeffries and Senator Schumer. Are they the old guard now? Are those guys out? Is it Mamdani and AOC who are calling the shots? The Democrats are going to have to figure that out internally. It could be a very interesting primary season
Well,
for them.
there was a celebration party Tuesday night in New York where they were looking at Hakeem Jeffries, pointing at him and chanting,
Yes.
"You're next."
Right. And here's the thing is that if these super progressive socialists out of New York, I mean, they're probably going to win those seats having won the primary. How does he then manage them? If he becomes speaker, if Democrats retake the House here in Washington, how does he manage a wing of his party that is so far left that he's not embracing them, or at least not fully? How does he get them to vote on things that are middle of the road when they're calling for abolishing ICE and yelling free Palestine and doing that kind of stuff? It's going to be a headache for him if he becomes speaker.
Well, President Trump says the Save America Act has got to get passed by Congress. But, I mean, we're talking about 60 in the Senate. So can Republicans squeeze part of it through the Senate, through reconciliation? Are there any parts that might actually make it through?
It's possible, and you make such a good point there, because what the House passed was voter ID and proof of citizenship to register to vote. Now, the version in the Senate that the president wants has all kinds of other stuff tacked to it. It can't even get to 50 votes. It's, banning a lot of mail-in ballots. It's banning transgender care for minors, banning trans athletes in women's sports. All of that package that is going to be real hard to, that hasn't even gotten to 50, much less 60. So, the speaker's talking about attach some of the voter ID stuff, the citizenship, to reconciliation. Senate Majority Leader Thune not real big on reconciliation package 3.0, so we'll see where they kind of find some common ground.
Tell us about your show on Sunday, Shannon.
We're going to be live from the Great American State Fair. It is really cool out here on the National Mall. Rodeo, Ferris wheel, food, all the states are represented, all the territories represented. So we'll be there live, and we'll have Senator Rick Scott, who was in that really testy meeting with the president this week with the GOP senators, and Congressman Jake Auchincloss. Who does he think is leading the Democrat Party moving forward?
Okay, so here's our poll question. Should the USA move a little closer to socialism? 17% say, yeah, there's just too much income inequality going on right now. 80% say, no, we have the greatest economy in the world. Don't ruin it. 3% say, socialism, no, but I'd support higher taxes on billionaires. Celeste.
All right. And on YouTube, 26% say, yes, there's way too much inequality. We're going to refresh those numbers for you. Almost 800 votes right now. 52% say, no, we have the greatest economy in the world. Don't ruin it. And 21% say, socialism? No, but I'd support higher taxes on billionaires. And now Elon is a trillionaire. Isn't he? Isn't he a
did you want me to pop up Elon or Dave?
Dave's probably a trillionaire too.
Hey, buddy.
Dave, how do you manage those type of
fun?
How do you manage those type of finances, Big D?
I just invest. So tons of comments on fox10phoenix.com/poll, as well as on YouTube. Christine Smith in Prescott says anyone wanting socialism needs to stay in countries that have it. It always fails. Jorge Carrasco says it needs to be a blend. Often people confuse socialism with communism. Socialism is based on securing basic living needs for all. As an example, healthcare, education. The USA is slowly privatizing healthcare, making it so expensive, which has people declaring bankruptcy after a long-term illness. Jonathan Newbern says the greatest economy in the world is only for the 1%. The other 99% of Americans see the American economy as garbage when we can't afford food. Tax the rich until poverty is eliminated. And finally, Brian Darcy says people have to understand that socialism equals the bare minimum, basic essentials, and that's it. Freedom and possibilities are way more important than some oatmeal, milk, and free health care. Really interesting comments on all sides. Keep them coming, everybody.
By the way, since Big D said, I just invest.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they want to get fancy with their various, setting some money aside. What was it? Oh, yeah. So, Celeste, back in the 80s, I had a stockbroker friend of mine send me a flyer for a brand new company.
Okay.
He was out of Spokane, but I had moved here to the Valley. And he's like, hey, do you want to get in on this IPO of a new company? And
What was it?
it was a coffee shop. And I thought, why would I want to put money into a coffee shop? So I said no.
It was
Then I went back and looked. And it was Starbucks. And of course, I'm like, nah, who wants to put money in a coffee? Well, of course, it became a worldwide phenomenon.
I'm happy you didn't, because then you probably would not be working here.
I believe if I did the math right, and this is what, the buy and hold technique that a lot of people say is the way. Don't get too up or down on it every day of the market. I believe if I did the math right, if I'd said, okay, here's $1,000, put it in there, we'll see what happens in 40 years.
Yes.
It would be worth $300,000 today.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
So are you pinching yourself like,
No, because like you just said, then I would be on a beach somewhere and I wouldn't get to hang out with you and Big D.
I know, and I'd be sad. I'd be crying. By the way, John Pierce in the chat, you are correct. Brian also just said Elon was a trillionaire for just a brief moment, and then he fell off.
Right. Okay, let's talk about this, Celeste. What we have these relationship experts coming up in a few minutes. Now,
yes.
What was your story today about the new chalant?
Chalant versus nonchalant relationships. So the Gen Z, they have this new dating trend called chalant relationships. Let me explain this to you.
Okay.
Chalant dating is a newer dating slang term that plays off the word nonchalant. So being chalant means the opposite, obviously, of being nonchalant, openly interested, intentional, consistent with communication, comfortable showing excitement instead of pretending not to care. And nonchalant, to give you the opposite, is waiting hours or days to text back on purpose. It's like ghosting someone. Nobody has time to be ghosted anymore.
No, they don't.
Don't be throwing me shade and don't be ghosting me, because you know what? There's more fish in the sea, Ron.
Okay.
There's more fish in the sea. Okay, a nonchalant also, acting like you're not interested, avoiding compliments because you don't want to seem too eager. Chalant dating.
This is kind of the cat and mouse game of dating, right?
It is.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, do you really want to respond in 15 seconds like you were staring at your phone waiting for her to say something to you and you're like, I mean, you can't do that either.
No, I know. I think you just play it cool.
It's a fine line. Play
it cool. But now, but for a while, people were ghosting the other person, or they were not wanting to seem interested.
Yeah.
That's not the case anymore.
So we have this beautiful view, Celeste, of Yakima, Washington. I'm thinking of my beloved cousin Mike, I hope is watching on YouTube right now. Up next, the 6 pillars of a happy marriage. 10:45, everybody. Welcome back. So coming up in about a minute and a half here, we have Tony and Alisa DiLorenzo. They are marriage experts.
Yes.
So they have the six pillars of a successful marriage, and we're going to find out all about that. But let's talk, Celeste, about our own, all three of us, you, me, Big D, we're all married.
Yes.
And the pillars, by the way, are emotional, physical, financial, sexual, spiritual, recreational.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to do good in all six of those. Now, if you want me to cover one category, what would it be, Celeste?
Why don't you cover, Ron, sexual?
Celeste, come on now. You know I have a tendency to sweat in the studio because it's always like 85 degrees. So thanks a lot, Celeste. You know what? This is amazing that
It's an important part of marriage, just so everybody understands.
There you go.
That is part of a covenant marriage.
How about I choose my own topic?
Okay, you go.
And I'm going to tell you, it has to do with this live picture from Yakima. So it would be in the emotional category.
Yeah.
And Renee and I, we love to visit family.
Aww.
And my beloved cousin, Mike Hoon, lives up there in the Yakima area. He's in assisted living, and we went to visit him. We were just up there a few weeks ago, and it was like the coolest thing just to reconnect with him.
Oh, that's great.
And, a few months earlier, I have an aunt who's 90 years old, and we showed up in Spokane and took her out to dinner.
Aww.
So reconnecting with family, I put in the emotional category. And by the way,
Do you want
I
me
guess,
to go over one too? Are you going to show this picture of you and Renee?
Yeah, I better show that. Hold on here. Where's our graphic? Hang on. So that's us in our dating days when we were both chalant and nonchalant. Dave, what are you laughing about?
I love that. The chalant dating.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see you guys in your chalant days.
That's
well,
right.
that's now. Yeah.
Yeah, us vacationing. We love vacationing now. We love vacationing with our entire family, our 2 kids. But yeah, that's something we've always enjoyed doing, getting quality time and seeing the world.
All right. Well,
I love that.
Celeste, if you want to talk about your sexual pillar, or your emotional, or your spiritual, whatever you want.
Okay, so
you read the Bible every day. I know that much.
We had there is the Song of Solomon. They talk a lot about being intimate in that book of the Bible, Ron.
There's some pretty good verses in there.
Talk about all kinds of stuff with the female body. So the photo that I have is when we were dating. We had a nonchalant period for about 6 to 7 months where we were friends. Okay, just like
nice.
dating, friends.
Yep.
This was New Year's Y2K.
Really?
Yeah.
26 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were dating. This is right when we met.
What year did you guys tie the knot? Do you remember?
2006.
I like how you had to pause for a minute. Celeste, that's great. But let's put info out there that can help every one of us. Here they are, you guys. It is Tony and Alisa. How you guys doing?
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Thank you for having us, Ron. I just want to say the feathered hair, man, that was solid.
The go-to look back in those days was a guy named Andy Gibb.
Yes.
The Bee Gees, that whole thing.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're right.
Happy to share it. Happy to share it. But anyway, let's talk about the 6 pillars, you guys. Jump into this. Give us good, meaty information we can actually put into practice.
Well, I love that you shared all 6 of them with the audience and that you already touched on some of them, right? Being in Yakima, visiting friends, and being in this place of those deep family relationships and being able to really speak into what's that connection that we have with others.
Yeah. And obviously around that emotional intimacy, that's our closeness and connection. And that's what intimacy is, just so you guys all know. When we share that, intimacy is we got a little feedback, sorry, is closeness and connection. And so you have that with your spouse, with other family members, friends, and other folks.
Are there times where one pillar obviously may be stronger than the other at different seasons of life, right? So my husband and I just celebrated 20 years of marriage, and spiritual.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Spiritual has been one of the things that we go back to all the time, with whether or not it's communion with our church and meeting and worshiping and praising our Bible study, but are different portions of your marriage or different times of life, I'm guessing one may be stronger than the other.
Absolutely. And I think you highlight a really key concept here is that all 6 of them are important. And in different seasons, stages of life, you may find that one is taking priority. But recognizing that all 6 matter, give you a framework to go back to and say, hey, if we're feeling a little disconnected, what can we pick up here? What do we need to strengthen?
That's so great. Now, can we dig into a couple others here?
Yeah.
Celeste, I love that you covered spiritual. I covered emotional. Let's talk about, how about physical and financial pillars? Dig into those two, would you?
Yeah, so physical intimacy, and I love how you brought all 6 of them up, because we have physical intimacy and then we have sexual intimacy. Our audience, we call them the one family. And what we heard from them a lot of times was there's a need for this physical intimacy, this non-sexual touch, this non-sexual connection. And then there's also that sexual intimacy. So when we look at our physical intimacy, these are the hugs, the kisses, the holding hands, the cuddling, those parts of our lives that we so desire as a married couple.
Absolutely. And then financial intimacy, I know that there are probably a lot of people listening right now that are going, I don't think those 2 words belong in the same sentence, right? Nothing feels close and connected about our finances. But the truth of the matter is that, we all have money running through our lives in one way, shape, or form. And so learning to be close and connected, to get on the same page, to be teammates around your finances, everything from how much money are we spending every month to what does our retirement look like, and learning how to be vulnerable and developing the skills around that is so important.
But how about if one partner is a spender and one partner is a saver? How do you combine those two?
Well, you're looking at it right here. And it's looking for those win-win solutions. As a marriage coach, I often tell my coaching couples, like, how can we find a win-win? How can, in the case of the spender, how can the spender have an amount that is okay to spend within the family budget and confines? And how can the saver feel like, okay, we're going to honor that, or that's going to be honored so that we stay on the same page and achieve our long-term financial goals? So they can work together.
I was actually thinking maybe you have a physical moment, like a hug and a kiss, and then you talk about finances right after. You warm your spouse up. You're right. Let's get ready for it. There is something. I was taking a look at your podcast. You guys have a very popular podcast.
800 episodes.
Yes.
You guys.
And a lot of great topics. Let me just read off a couple of them. You just talked about the connection multiplier, see me, know me, celebrate me, the joy of foreplay, summer connection doesn't just happen. How do you find your topics? And I'm guessing you maybe through seasons of your own marriage, you say, maybe this is something we need to talk about right now.
Yeah, so a lot of times it's from our own marriage. One of the things when we started podcasting in 2010, one of the things that we believed in, that we were going to always be open, honest, and transparent with the one family. And so seasons of life, we have 2 older children. So we have literally raised our children as we have been doing the podcast. So we have gone through seasons in our own lives. We're about to celebrate 30 years of marriage coming up in October.
Congratulations.
And so we find them in our own lives, but also when we're just out and about, we're at church, we're talking to people. Alisa with marriage coaching, she's talking to her couples. And we just hear things. And if we hear things come up 3 times, we know we need to bring this up as a topic because it's being talked about in marriages and between couples. So we need to introduce this concept or this idea that's happening.
I was watching another podcast, and I've already started following yours, by the way, but my husband and I were watching one last night, and these 2 comedians were inside the studio, and they're talking about the older comedian about how he loves his wife and loves his marriage. And the podcast host is asking him, well, why do you love it? Why do you think it works? And he talked specifically about the sexual intimacy. And he's like, it's so freeing that if you can be sexually intimate with somebody on a certain level, he's like, it really fires up your relationship and it keeps you together.
Can't disagree with that. And I think that's the beauty and the possibility in long-term marriages, right? We can develop this knowing of one another so well. And you mentioned Song of Solomon, as you guys were coming into this, and it's true. Once we know each other so well, what does that open in terms of what's possible in the sexual intimacy in that covenant marriage?
So if you say to your spouse, I really want to do some Bible study, but you're consistently going to the Song of Solomon, is that over the top?
I would say bring the handcuffs and the Song of Solomon.
It's a good combo.
Off the rails.
Look at
again,
your husband.
Celeste.
Your husband can't
Off
wait to
the
talk about
rails.
this.
All right,
He's totally into it.
One last question, then we got to bounce out of here. But give us one good idea on how to rekindle. At the very beginning, we were talking about just rekindling the passion. Give us an idea on how to do that. We got 1 minute left.
1 minute. You want to rekindle passion? Put your phones down.
Oh, good answer.
We're losing way too much right now with people's distraction on scrolling, having their phones up at restaurants, things like that. You want to connect, show your eyeballs and maybe even your hands to your spouse and connect with them that way to really rekindle passion on so many levels.
How can people find out about your podcast? I'm sure a lot of people are watching us online. We have thousands, literally thousands of people watching us streaming right now. How do they come find you?
Yeah, go to oneextraordinarymarriage.com. They can find everything that we got going on. They can find the podcast, the book, and much, much more there.
All right. We are loving our chat with you. We're going to keep you guys on our favorites list because you guys have been amazing. Anytime we have relationship topics and things like that, we would love to call on you both. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Have a great weekend. Congratulations on 30 years of marriage.
So great.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. And hey, look. Big D, he and his wife, all these.
Outstanding. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
It's Big Dave.
Ron's sweating over. Dave, Ron is sweating over
You
here.
knew you were going to do that to me. Here's Celeste and Big Gare, Renee and me when back in the 70s. Celeste, that was the look, by the way.
That look actually can still work, Ron. You are
Maybe so.
still hip, buddy.
Okay, fine. But next, we got to get out of here for Ty and Anita, but we're going to hang on Yakima.
Yeah.
I love that town.
I know. And if your cousin Mike is watching, good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Mike.
And we have loved chatting with all of you in the chat. Lil Philosophy, Louis Gonzalez. I think we have some new people in here as well. Thomas Favela, AZ Raider, Burger Boy, Linda Monterth. You guys have a great weekend. And Anita and Ty are up next. We'll see you later.
Hi, everyone. 10, 11 o'clock on the dot. Welcome in. Friday. We made it to the end of the week, you guys. We're going to start with some of the top stories we're following for you. We're going to go right out to President Donald Trump, who is currently speaking at the Faith and Freedom Coalition. We're going to listen in here for just a few minutes.
An election in a landslide, and we won an election in a landslide. And while I am in the White House, I will defend Christians and all Americans of faith 100%. You have it 100%, and you've seen it already. So upon taking office, I created the first ever Presidential Commission on Religious Liberty, led by Texas Lieutenant Governor, a great guy. I don't know if he's here. I know he's coming over to my office in a little while, a thing called the Oval Office, beautiful office. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, and my friend, Dr. Ben Carson.
Okay, President Trump speaking at the Faith and Freedom Coalition Policy Conference. We will be carrying this live in its entirety on our YouTube channel, so you can head over there if you would like to hear more of that. Let's talk about the other stories that we're watching. We had a really big story earlier this week that everyone really liked on the website as well. So now it's one of our top stories on news. The license has been revoked for a pool company allegedly scamming just tons of people. The LLC for Sun States Pool is now listed as revoked on the Arizona Registrar of Contractors. State agency says since last September, they've received 85 different complaints. They're looking into all of them. We do have a woman who started a Facebook page. So all of these people who have been affected by this, she said she's at like $20,000, $40,000. And then they have also filed with Attorney General Chris Mays, who can't comment on any of this because it is an ongoing and active investigation. And Fox 10, our team has reached out to the pool company as well, Sun State Pools, and we haven't heard back yet.
All right, take a look at this video, you guys. Caught on camera, a teenage driver asleep at the wheel, crashing right through a fence and then right into a swimming pool. This is up in Page. They say the driver fell asleep early in the morning while heading home and accidentally hit the gas.
Wow.
Instead of the brake, the vehicle then crashed through that wall and into the pool. Officers say the teen was not impaired at the time. He was just asleep at the wheel. So I guess this goes to show you just how dangerous it can be, even being tired behind the wheel, right?
Absolutely. And also, how do you get out of that? We've had so many different incidents in live shots where we talk about, safety and whether you're rolling that window down or opening that car door. So good thing no one was injured there. Other story that we are watching today, this is absolutely incredible footage. If you guys are just listening and not watching at home, please take a look at this. We have 3 Mesa police officers, and they actually ran, this is their body camera video. This happened last week, Baseline Road, 78th Street. They arrived to the scene. They found a vehicle on fire. The fire spread to an RV and then a nearby house. And as that fire was growing out of control, the homeowner says to them, hey, my wife and my pets are trapped inside. So all 3 of those police officers, this is what they did. They're climbing those fences and they ran inside. They were able to pull the woman out. They got the husband back out. You could see this is video of them running into the smoke-filled house as the flames are shooting right there.
It's like getting them all out.
They're getting everyone out. They got the animals out. They had a little bit of smoke inhalation, but just so incredible. And it goes to show they are true heroes who risk their lives day in and day out. They're not firefighters. They're police officers who ran in.
All right, let's go to what you are reading. These are the top 3 stories that are currently on our website this morning. And the first one here is going to be about a drug dealer who left buyers on a bad trip. So let's pull that one up here. This guy, his name's Freddie Anthony Avila, 29, was sentenced to 8 years in state prison for supplying the lethal fentanyl that caused the fatal overdose of a Tempe man. That man pled guilty to reckless manslaughter and drug charges after initially being indicted as the second person in the county history under Arizona's strict new lethal fentanyl law.
Okay, so this was also a top story trending throughout the week. We had a turquoise alert, and the brothers have been arrested after this young girl's Arizona disappearance triggered that turquoise alert. That was on Tuesday. So it was a 13-year-old girl. She was reported missing from Apache Junction at a gas station, got into an argument with her family, walked away. They lured her in. And on June 21st, these two brothers, you see their pictures right there on your screen, were found in Globe. They sexually assaulted her. She is safe and with her family, and they are facing some very, very serious charges. And one of those brothers actually has a criminal past as well. So very, very scary situation.
And then the third most read story on our website, listen to this, an Arizona man getting prison time for aiming lasers at fighter jets. Authorities say William Wilson, he was 56 years old, aimed laser pointers at F-35 fighter jets near Luke Air Force Base between September of 2024 and January of 2025. So they finally caught up to him, arrested him, and obviously this can be very dangerous. Pilots can basically lose all visual ability in the cockpit when you shine one of those laser pointers at the plane. He was sentenced to 10 months in prison. So just goes to show you how dangerous that can be. And now they're watching you, and they'll arrest you for something like that.
Absolutely. John Pierce, 2569, says those cops rock, no doubt. 1,000% agree. That is just so heroic watching them run in.
All right, you guys, let's get into our other story that we are following for you on this Friday. We're talking about the Ebola virus. This has been breaking out in Africa. We haven't really heard a whole lot about it, but guess what? It is still ramping up in that area. So we're going to bring in Dr. Tyler B. Evans. Dr. Evans, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good to hear.
Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. We were just talking just a second ago about, this was really dominating the headlines just a few weeks ago. Seems to have died down, but those Ebola cases, they haven't.
It's not dying down.
So walk us through what we're seeing.
It continues to, the numbers continue to increase, particularly in Democratic Republic of Congo. We're looking at right now around 1,200 cases and likely over 300 deaths. Some of those still need to be confirmed in terms of their actual sort of laboratory confirmation to Ebola. So it is increasing. It is not contained. We had our first case in France take place this week. Currently, there are no cases in the United States, but this again has a lot of opportunities to really scale. Just for context, this is the third time in history that Ebola has been identified as a public health emergency of international concern by the World Health Organization. The last two times, 2014, 2016 in West Africa, and then the time after that, 2018, 2019, also in Democratic Republic of Congo. I worked on both of those prior responses. So we're really concerned about this one, that this one actually may scale past those prior ones. And there's really 6 different components here that makes this one different.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because you said it is not dying down. There's no vaccine. This variant is different than the ones you have dealt with in the past.
That's right. This is the Bundi Bunjo, which is a different strain. So the typical strains are the Zaire, the Sudan strains. So for historical context, the majority of outbreaks have taken place either in Sudan, Uganda, Democratic Republic of Congo, sort of Central Africa. And so Democratic Republic of Congo used to be called Zaire. So that's why it's called the Zaire strain. So Zaire and Sudan strain represent about 90 to 95%. This is a different type of strain. So we didn't have the tests, we didn't have the therapeutics, we didn't have the vaccines for this strain. Now that we are, we currently have advanced vaccines that are currently in trial for animal studies, but this stuff takes time, and probably there's 3 different ones right now. It'll probably take several months, hopefully by the end of the year. But we don't have the time, and that's really the sort of concern here. We lost a lot of time because we didn't have the tests either. So the tests that we're usually using, these point of care tests, are typically again set up for those other strains. So we didn't know that it was happening. And so we lost a lot of opportunities to sort of contain that. Then we're also dealing with conflict, right? This is one of the most conflicted nations in the world. As the result of the Rwandan genocide of 1994, and even prior to that, there have been a number of rebel groups that have entered Congo. And so this is a serious concern. It's very hard to get in there. It's very hard for trusted messengers to get in there. There's not a lot of trust in there as well. In terms of folks loved ones that pass away, their bodies are being taken away from them. There's reasons for that because of the first 48 hours after death, those are actually the highest risk of transmission. And so, a number of people just feel as if, the government is against them and this is all a plot. So it's really hard with all of those conditions. I write a lot about this in my book, Pandemics, Poverty, and Politics. With all of those conditions, this really creates a recipe for disaster. And the last piece I forgot to mention was, we have pulled back globally. We have pulled back investment from infrastructure in Congo and in Uganda because of the pullout of USAID, because of the pullout of the CDC's global health response, because of our pullout from the World Health Organization. This has really impacted Congo's ability to respond.
Less than a minute left. We have a question in the chat asking about that first case of Ebola in France. How someone may have brought it back, and obviously what that concern is there. About 30 seconds, please.
It was a humanitarian healthcare worker, a hero. Basically, this has happened in the past, happened in the United States as well. When somebody comes back, these things can happen. Looks like that is being contained. So, we're definitely tracking that. And anybody that was in close contact is going through contact tracing.
All right. Well, Dr. Tyler Evans, give us the name of that book that you wrote one more time if folks want to get a hold of that.
Sure. Pandemics, Poverty, and Politics, published by Johns Hopkins University Press. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble.
All right. We appreciate your insight into this. And, of course, this is not over, as you mentioned, so we'll probably keep you on the horn and get updates from you. We appreciate your time.
But still have a good summer right now. Just stay tuned. I don't want to be alarmist. United States, there are no cases.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. We appreciate it. Have a good one.
Yeah, it's just always something to watch out for when you're traveling.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, going to end on a very light note.
Okay.
What year was it?
Here it comes.
Oh,
what year was it? We have a new fancy animation now, Anita.
Okay, oh, wow.
Wham.
No, Whammo.
Whammo, what's that?
I don't know. Oh, debuts the plastic hula hoop.
I was like, is that the band, Wham? Okay, no, Whammo debuts
That's the brand,
plastic
not
hula
the band.
Hoop. What year did the hula hoop come out?
52 or 53?
I'm going to go into the late 40s. I'm going to say,
whoa.
I'm going to say 48.
Wow.
And what are you saying?
I said 52, 53-ish,
okay,
whatever
52,
you pick.
53.
Okay, folks at home, which year did Whammo debut the plastic hula hoop? No cheating. We want some just real guesses.
All right, we'll be right back, you guys. All right, welcome back. There is the question. Whammo debuted the plastic hula hoop when? And we got quite a few answers, didn't we?
We do. John Pierce, 2569, says 1963. Lil Philosophy says 1975. Thomas Brown, 1965. Louis Gonzalez, 52. You guessed 48.
I guessed 48.
I guessed 52 as well.
All right, here we go.
Drum roll,
this
please.
Is the answer.
58.
Oh, I was way off by almost a decade, wasn't I?
Dave, we should start keeping score. It's whoever guesses the closest without going over, like The Price is Right.
There you go.
So
if you have a Trivial Pursuit game you're having this weekend and this answer comes up,
you know the answer.
You know the answer.
And which year
already.
was the Rubik's Cube invented?
1974.
Look at him go.
See, we're learning all sorts of stuff.
I'm going to ask you that every single day.
I love it.
We had a great chat with Dr. Bouillon. Earlier this week about workplace burnout.
Yep.
And that's, if you go into the office and then sometimes you're taking that work home because you're working well past that 5 o'clock out time. Well, we still do have people who work from home.
Yes. And listen to this. According to the latest data, 27% of the Scottsdale workforce, so we're just talking about Scottsdale,
alone,
working remote. Now, while remote workers routinely say that they like kind of the flexibility, they can come, they can go, they can log on, they can log off, they can
work anywhere, really. Coffee shop, library.
Yeah. Some are saying this is actually maybe affecting their mental health, though. So our next guest is going to dive right into that. We have Josette Sullins joining us this afternoon. Hi, Josette.
Hello.
Hey, hi everybody. Nice to be on.
Are you working from home?
You know what? It's so funny. I am actually working from Maui. So
excuse us, Josette.
Well, so that's I know, but that's either a positive or a negative because I'm assuming on vacation, but you're working on vacation. That's kind of the pros and cons of working from home.
Well, actually, I have healthcare clinics out here in Maui as well. And so I personally do not like to work from home. But in certain situations like this, we have to, right?
That is very true. So walk us through kind of what I think folks maybe during the pandemic were kind of like, hey, this is kind of cool. I get to work from home. But now that it's lasted, 6 years and some folks are still on those hybrid schedules, what are you seeing as far as people's mental health when they're basically at home a lot?
It works for some, for sure. And, we looked at the study that you brought up. Obviously, it's affecting at least 28%, of our individuals are saying that it's derogatory for them. The most important thing is to be able to have balance. And I think sometimes when you work from home, you don't know when to turn it off, right? And so that becomes a huge, huge factor.
So how do you find that balance? How do you turn it off?
Well, for a lot of people, they can't. And so that's where we get into the mental health component. Most of us will take an annual physical exam, but we should also be taking an annual behavioral health exam. Even when you look at the study, it was talking about the physical health. It doesn't seem to be affected, but definitely the mental health. And so sometimes we don't even know that there's a problem, Anita, until it's too late.
And so what are some of the symptoms, I guess, that we could ask? What are people, I guess, saying is the big issue that they're experiencing with working from home?
Well, I think a lot of them are starting to have more social anxiety because you're not used to keeping up with the times or, the Joneses or, having those natural supports. And so all of the energy that you have bottled up from working at home can really be a big issue. Think of all of the individuals that never leave their desk. And I'm guilty of that even in my office. But, we can order everything online. Everything can be delivered. We never really have to leave. And so that can really play a role on mental health as well as physical health and several other, socially and not to mention that as well.
Yeah.
I had a work from home job many years ago, before COVID even. It was just how the company operated. And there were days where I would sit at my desk in my bedroom or wherever until like 9 o'clock. And sometimes I did it strategically, though, because I would do like the 410s. And then Friday, you would send out the reports, as we call them, to the clients. And then I would just kind of like sit by the pool and monitor the emails. I didn't really work as hard as I did those 4 other days.
Yeah, it works out, like we said, for a lot of different people. I coach a lot of clients that work from home or have a hybrid practice, but they're also, very aware of the different life skills and components that they have to also balance. So there's a lot to balance when you work from home, as well as if you work in an office. So it'll be interesting what those stats are, right?
Yeah. I was going to ask you, like, when you say balance, do you actually give your clients, like, okay, let's say you're going to work from 9 until 3, then you're going to take a break. And then, I mean, I guess what Anahita said is that it's so hybrid that sometimes I feel like maybe your home feels like your work. And I feel like that's not kind of the right mindset to have, right? You should really have differentiate work versus
the space,
home.
even like a physical space, not just a mental space.
Yes, definitely physical boundaries there. I agree with you 100%. And a lot of times people either don't have the space at their house for that, or they don't make that a priority. And you have to. I mean, for us all to be healthy and have that perfect work-life balance, we need to make sure that we're getting equal amounts of sleep, versus work versus our personal time. And so if everything's at your house, you can see how all of that can get muddled pretty quickly if those work boundaries are not in place.
We had a Zoom interview, gosh, I think it may have been last week. And we were talking to, there was one gentleman, this happened a couple times, one gentleman whose daughter or son was kind of running around behind him. We had one woman whose cat showed up on her desk and was kind of climbing in. We had another gentleman, a former pro soccer player, and you can watch his little girls just going behind him. But I mean, it's fun to us because we see real life, but it can be distracting to the person working from home as well. Stressful, if you will.
Yeah, it's stressful, and it's also stressful for the family as well, because then they feel like they're competing for your time. So it sends some mixed boundaries there. So yeah, it can be difficult in all of those areas. And then also, Anahita, think about when you have sensitive information. Like we have healthcare information. We literally have to have everyone have their live screens on to make sure that we don't have kids walking in the background, the spouse is there. So, take that into consideration as well.
I was going to ask you, so when do you think it would be important for someone to maybe seek professional help and say, hey, I'm struggling with this work-life balance and it's just driving me crazy? What's that point where maybe they should talk to someone like you?
Well, I was thinking like what Anahita was saying earlier, when you find yourself at your desk from, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. at night, that could probably be an indicator, right? That, you need some boundaries there on work. But she also said that, she got all the work out of the way in the beginning, right? And then she enjoyed the rest of the time. So it's very individualized. That's why we always say, go seek out professional help. Have a behavioral health assessment done. There's nothing, wrong with that. And you can really understand where you're at and, work to get that healthy balance.
How do people find you?
17th floor.vip.
Awesome. Right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And hopefully you get to have a little work-life balance and enjoy Maui a little bit.
Every time I'm here, I go out on the water. And
there
so
you go.
I love it. But absolutely. I do practice what I preach.
Yes, I was going to say, have a Mai Tai for us, will ya?
Absolutely.
All right, Josette, thank
much.
you. Nice talking to you.
We don't have cameras out there right now. We're trying to establish a shot for you guys, but we do have some breaking news. Phoenix police responding to gunshots that have been fired at an apartment complex near 15th Avenue, North 15th Avenue, West Indian School Road.
So we're getting some preliminary information here this afternoon that thankfully no one was hurt. There's no injuries reported, but there were gunshots in that area. The scene obviously very active. We have launched chopper. We keep an eye on this is the view. We're waiting for them to establish a shot, but it hasn't been established just just yet, but they are on their way right now to that scene. So as soon as we get some additional information about what exactly is happening there, we will dip back in and give you an update.
And very important, PD is saying that this is an active scene, but community members are being asked to remain clear of the area for the time being because they're not exactly sure what's going on either.
And sometimes when they make that, put that line in there, they don't have a shooter in custody just yet.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll keep you guys posted. We might even have something for you at noon. Also want to mention we had a couple of questions in the chat. I think that they're probably way up there at this point. Someone was asking, I wonder how much the hula hoop was.
Oh, did you do a little research?
I did a little research. When the modern plastic hula hoop was first released by the Wham-O Toy Company in '58, it retailed for $1.98. I think that's pricey for 1958.
Yeah, it's kind of pricey.
I was expecting under $1. I don't know. Maybe I'm cheap.
Well,
but you know what? Wait, do you know how much they cost today? The Wham-O hula hoop?
How much?
$21.
No, go on Amazon. That
The price is equivalent to...
equivalent.
Okay, sorry. Let's see how much. And then
no one's buying a $21 hula hoop now.
I don't know. But they did also make someone else asked if they made the Frisbee.
Oh, did they?
How much does a hula hoop cost?
Just go on Amazon. And someone said it's still morning, Ty. I know. We do the noon show, and I say
did
good
I say
morning.
good afternoon?
I say good. No, I did.
Oh goodness.
So,
yeah.
Oh whoa.
Yeah. See.
No, well that one at Walmart's only $10.
Yeah.
But some of the weighted, like legit ones,
$30.
$20 to $30.
How much is a Wham-O?
All right.
Wham-O hula hoop.
Is Wham-O still in business?
I don't know.
See, look,
Gosh,
this question leads to a lot more.
$7.19. It retails for $7.19 at DK Hardware, $9.99 at original stores.
What? I've never even heard of these.
We should go on a road trip.
All right.
Oh, hey, $9.99. Oh, but this is their little skip one.
Okay, there you go. All right. We've got just a couple minutes left. This is what we're looking ahead to. Some big headlines will be coming out on Monday. The Supreme Court could be issuing some of their last couple of decisions before their big break. Some of the other notable things happening on Monday that we are keeping an eye out. Luigi Mangione is going to be returning to a Manhattan federal court for his pre-trial hearing.
He is, of course, the man who killed the CEO of United Healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have a hearing that's scheduled in the murder retrial of Alex Murdaugh. A lot of people have been watching this. He was found guilty for killing his wife and his son, and then they said that there was a court clerk who wrote a book and jeopardized the trial and the verdict.
All right.
So he's going back in.
We'll see you at noon. Bye.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody. Ron and Des hanging out with you now for the next half hour of Fox 10 Talks, and you are looking live at Jacksonville, Alabama. I've been to Alabama twice, Des. I don't think I've ever been to actual Jacksonville. Of course, everybody thinks of Jacksonville, Florida, but let me just real quick check it out. Okay, so, you zoom in on it on the map, and the first thing that pops up is a Chick-fil-A. I said I have never seen a bigger crowd at a restaurant in my life than the Chick-fil-A in Alabama, in Montgomery, the state capital. I mean, it was just a typical, Tuesday at 12:30. I'm like, whoever
really
wants to become a millionaire, get yourself a Chick-fil-A franchise in the South.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know. Trenton joins us this morning. We love when Trenton pops in. Were the Chick-fil-A's down Houston way, all across Texas?
Always hopping.
Always.
Yeah.
Always, right?
It's
Except on
incredible.
Sunday.
That's true. Yeah.
They have still stuck by that, huh?
Right.
So many Sundays, I'm like, I just want to.
That's all I want on Sunday.
We always want what we can't have.
Absolutely.
Right, exactly.
On a random Wednesday, whatever, I'll get there later. Sunday, I wish
That's what I wanted.
It was open.
So, Des, we invited Trenton to join because all along the way in the Nancy Guthrie case, there have been developments, and he's really been on top of a lot of them.
Yeah, absolutely. What is kind of the latest here that we are diving into?
So this has taken quite a week where we've had twists and turns with new details about the second note. Now, that goes back to February, right, that we had talked about previously. But there was a note that came by email this morning to TMZ that claims that there is a phone with video footage showing the last moments of Nancy Guthrie on there with supposedly the main kidnapper. Now, this all comes from Harvey Levin reporting it this morning talking about what they had that came in. Now, the beginning of this email from someone connected to the kidnappers started off with more about the previous note in the reporting there. There was the theory that because the person had said that Nancy was buried with nature and she accidentally died, that might be a show of remorse, and maybe the person's actually a woman. So they wrote female ? So kind of indicating this isn't a woman tied to the kidnapping who took Nancy. And then also documentary ? That was Harvey Levin saying that they were wanting to pay the money, the $4 million that was requested in the first note, and see what happened with that Bitcoin wallet if they got any hits, and then they would make that into a documentary. And that's when the FBI really cut off communication with them about a month ago when they pitched that. Now we've been told by TMZ that they are back in with cooperating with the investigation as far as with TMZ. And they also said, I'm not the idiot who recently called in the tip about the burial site in Mexico. Now, that was a separate communication that happened with local authorities and then federal authorities in Mexico, I believe over across the border in Nogales. And there was a search in multiple graves. Still, obviously, no sign of Nancy there.
Was anything else said in this note?
Only 2 are directly involved, and I doubt they would be the ones calling to snitch on themselves. So indicating that there were multiple people in the kidnapping of Nancy. Now,
that's interesting because I think you wonder, could this be the kidnapper himself or herself, kind of trying to reach out and communicate directly. But in this note, they're saying that maybe it's not the case.
Can we listen to Harvey's?
This is Harvey actually talking about what was the video that they had on this phone.
Okay. He says that he has video. He has video of Nancy Guthrie with the main kidnapper on what probably would be the last day of her life. That's the way he puts it here. He says, while what it contains is my definition of delivering it on a silver platter, a short video of the main guy with Nancy the day that was probably her last.
So it goes on to say that the phone has names, addresses, and phone numbers of the kidnappers, but it's in a secured, safe location, and they're willing to give the password and the location of that phone for 1 Bitcoin.
Which is, like 59,000
right.
for 1 Bitcoin. You think somebody will pay it here, either the family or would TMZ pay it?
Yes. So I believe it's $59,000 for 1 Bitcoin right now.
Yeah.
And that was the question before of why wasn't the money paid? And initially the FBI took the approach of wanting to what they call tickle the wire, where they put a small amount in for that $4 million request, the wallet that they had. But we learned actually...
He says...
sorry, go ahead.
We learned yesterday that the number was way smaller than what was initially reported. It was only $152. So...
That they were asking for?
Well, that they put into the wallet.
That they put into the wallet.
So a very, very small amount compared to the $4 million. Now, the point is with today of giving the 1 Bitcoin, this has a little more traction, and they were able to verify that this is the same person from the previous. They had that original address for the first 2 notes with the Bitcoin wallet that matched. Now, they said that they're using a new wallet. They gave that address. Harvey Levin did say they've turned all this over to the FBI and, hope to obviously find Nancy, whatever that means.
Mm-hmm.
And they've asked for a screen grab from this person so they can corroborate it better.
I mean, you would think, investigators, they know best. The FBI knows best, but I think the average person might be thinking, why not pay it and see what happens?
Yeah,
see if you get the location to the phone. And
okay, well, I know you're going to keep track of it over the weekend. Maybe next week there'll be some new developments.
2:30, we'll have on Jennifer Coffindaffer. She's a former FBI special agent. Okay. We'll also be talking to our private investigators, see where this goes, get their theories, and a lot happening.
Okay. Perfect.
Hey,
Thank
we
you,
want to talk about one of the other big headlines from this week. President went up on Capitol Hill. He decided not to sign that housing bill. So we are bringing on David Dworkin, who is the president, CEO of the National Housing Conference. David, thanks for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah. What is in this bill? I've seen estimates, as we've talked about in the past, that we're anywhere from 3 million to 4 million housing units short of what we need to get things in balance. Would this bill solve a big chunk of that?
It will get us well on our way. And the fact is that we got into this housing crisis by not building enough housing over 15 years. That's a big hole. And we're going to get out of it the same way we got into it, which is a shovel at a time. This bill does a few things. One is it makes it easier to invest in affordable housing. It also makes it easier to build affordable housing because it cuts a lot of red tape. And when you do that, you improve how subsidy dollars work, and we build more houses for the same dollar. I think that's really important. Another thing that's going to have a very direct impact is we have some very old rules about manufactured housing, which are completely archaic. And they say if you have a manufactured housing unit that's going to be governed by your HUD standards, and those building codes are uniform throughout the country, which makes it easier to scale up if you're building this, it has to have a chassis so that the owner can remove it and move it to wherever else they want to live. Well, it doesn't work like that. People don't actually move their house around. It almost never happens. What the change is we're going to say, you don't have to have a chassis anymore. And that allows us to take these units and kind of build them like a Lego set. And you can do some really interesting architectural things that way and match the architecture of the neighborhood much more effectively. And that reduces the stigma dramatically. And this is an incredibly effective way of helping people who can't afford to buy, a big stick-built home.
Mm-hmm. So right now, with the president refusing to sign this bipartisan bill, should we all worry, or, does this prolong maybe the potential of kind of getting out of this housing crisis that we're seeing, or not necessarily, because this doesn't immediately lift all of the red tape?
Well, I think it would be just terrible if the bill didn't pass, actually become law, because It was passed in the House and the Senate by overwhelmingly bipartisan margins, 89 votes in the Senate, and 326 votes in the House. That's huge. That's unheard of. And the White House worked to help make the bill better, and they were involved and supported the bill. So I think what this is about is the president is trying to use leverage on an issue that is very important to him, but he has not said he's going to veto the bill, and my hope and belief is that he will, in fact, either sign the bill or let it become law, and we'll be able to begin work on implementing it. Which
it's going to become law in 10 days, right? I guess now the clock's ticking more like 7.
Yes. No, well, actually, this is why I still have a pocket constitution in my desk. It's only after you transmit it to the president, because they were going to sign it down the hall from where they passed it. They didn't have to transmit it. So the clock didn't start until they transmitted it, and they didn't transmit it until they met with the president, which they did yesterday, the speaker did, and they had a candid conversation. I think it was very productive because when the speaker came back to the Hill, he transmitted the bill. That starts the clock. Today is day 1, and we don't count Sundays. So we basically have 12 days to go, and then it does become law.
Okay. All right. Tell us about.
I'd love to see him take more credit for it than that, but I'll take the bill.
If they were involved in the negotiations. Tell us. We only have about 30 seconds left about your group, the National Housing Conference.
Well, thanks. We are the oldest and broadest housing coalition in America. We were founded in 1931, and we put together unlikely coalitions to get things done. So we work with everybody: liberal groups, conservative groups, banks, nonprofit housing developers. This is about building more housing and helping more people, and that's something that's very broadly supported in this country.
Yeah, hopefully we get that done with this bill. Thank you so much, David. It was a pleasure having you on today.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, here's a quick look at our mystery cam, and coming up next, Johnny Netzel on the America 250 countdown for the Great American Story.
All right, here's the mystery cam. You guys are busy getting your guesses in. Thomas Brown says, hey, this is Virginia. Outlaw Dynamo likes Tennessee. B. Miguel likes Mississippi. John Pierce says Georgia. But there is a Missouri in there, Low Philosophy, and an Alabama from Louis Gonzalez.
It reminds me of that one
Which
show
one?
on HD, Des, that is, what is it called? Hometown? I want to say it's in like Laurel, Mississippi.
Oh.
Have you ever watched that show?
I have not.
I love that couple. I mean, they're kind of, I don't know, one of the best on HG. So it does feel like it's somewhere southern, I'm going to say.
It does. I lived in. I'm not going to go with Tennessee here.
Okay.
Watch it be Tennessee, but I'll go Mississippi with B. Miguel.
All right. I think I'll go right next door. Well, almost next door, and call it Georgia. Georgia, Mississippi, ladies and gentlemen. What do we have?
Which one is it? Oh, watch, it's going to be Tennessee. Oh my gosh, it is. It's Dixon, Tennessee.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Of course.
Now, why is Des cracking her own self up? Because
gosh,
she
'cause
lived
I
in
lived in
Tennessee
Nashville,
for a couple years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, cool. This is Dixon.
Yeah, there
Love
you
it.
go. That is super cool. Gonna have to go check that town out.
Yeah, I guess so.
Is
Trying to
it
see where
anywhere
is.
near
Let's see.
Nashville? Here, we're looking on the map.
is- Oh, yeah. Just east of Nashville. Or, west. West.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
On the highway down toward Jackson.
Yeah. Okay.
I love
There you go.
Tennessee. Cute little
Cute little
towns,
street then. All
friendly
right.
people, beautiful mountain country.
Nice.
That is super cool. Okay, so let's go from Tennessee to Rome, Des, because they were just talking about the 80th birthday of the Vespa.
I know. How cool, right?
Yeah.
How fun would it be to ride a Vespa through the streets of Rome?
You know, now we have all these e-bikes that can go up to 28 miles an hour, that
Yeah.
kind of a thing.
Yeah. How fast does a Vespa go?
That's a real, I've never ridden one.
Let's
That's an
find
excellent
out.
question.
Let's ask Google.
So anyway, congrats to them. Fans from around the world gathering this week in Rome to celebrate its 80th, the Vespa's 80th birthday. It was launched right around the end of World War II when, for a while there, they hadn't been making cars, and people were like, well, how are we going to get around? Well, how about some kind of a cute little motorcycle-like thing? And that's when the Vespa scooter, which are still all over the place there, was created, and here we are 80 years later.
Yeah, how cool is that? They go anywhere from 30 to 80 miles per hour to even, more than 80 miles per hour. So there
80?
you go. I guess it depends on what kind of Vespa you get. All right, pretty cool.
Okay, so this reminded you, though, Des, of a certain movie, yes?
Oh, yeah, let's roll it.
Okay, ready? And here we go. Oh, look at these guys. So what's happening?
Oh, cool. Okay, I thought we were going to have a little clip from it. All right, no. If you want to go check out a movie about Vespas, this is the movie Luca. It's a really cute kids movie. It's set in the town in the Italian Riviera, kind of, and there's sea monsters in the water, these two main characters.
Oh, boy.
And when they're on land, they become human, and they want to enter a Vespa competition.
Look at that.
To win a Vespa and explore the Italian Riviera.
Look
So
at
it's
that.
just really cute.
Oh, they're so excited about a Vespa.
Yeah.
So how long ago did that come out, would you say?
Oh, I have no idea.
And have your
I don't
kids
know.
watched
I've seen
it
it,
and loved it?
probably 25 times. So
so
it's a cute kids movie if you're interested in checking it out. Just made me think about the Vespa.
I know we got plenty of moms and dads in the audience, and there's your hot tip. If you haven't seen Luca, oh, and look, there we are on the Vespa.
How cool.
Pretty soon there's sea monsters involved. That's really great. Hey, John Netzel joins us. John, you and I took on a kind of a gargantuan product, or project, I should say, and we did end up producing the 10, what we feel, and we really noodled it back and forth and got some input from other people as well, what we felt were the 10 biggest events in American history.
Yeah.
So
kind of a lead up to it was a lead up to July 4th.
Yeah.
So, we just put our heads together, and it's a subjective list, no question. You could come up with your own 10 for sure, but I think they're pretty good. Yeah, I think they're very eventful, and I think we kind of we melded some together to kind of cheat a little bit.
Yes.
Just to cover, what we thought should be covered.
Yeah.
So yeah.
By the way, Des, check this out.
Wow, look at that list. What's on this list
John
here?
produced this list. Actually,
Well,
I think
I
it's
can't
from
take
one of
credit
our
for it.
other Fox stations.
It's actually from Fox News Radio.
Okay. Of 250 events in American history.
Wow.
You know, a lot of ours are on.
And
well, all of ours are on here.
all
but,
of them are on there.
But they
Oh.
they combine too. So like I'm going through this list and I'm going, wow, like the Manhattan Project is on here. So is Normandy. It's like, well, we combine those two, right?
Two,
So
yeah, to get them both in
Apollo
there.
11 is on here. You know, we did that. There's, you know, the assassination of Lincoln and then there's a Civil War. So we combine. We didn't combine those, but we, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool.
We took this list and we improved it.
Yes,
That's what
there you
John
go.
is trying
It's
to
the
say.
best version of that list that you're going to get.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's go through some of them. So number 10 was the September 11th attacks. And one of the things about doing this particular show, The Great American Story, is that you go back in time. Sometime in a case like this, you go back 26 years. But you learn new things. The thing that stuck out for me on this one, John, was a fella who was in charge of security for Morgan Stanley.
Yeah.
He drove his bosses crazy. They had 28 floors on the World Trade Center, and he insisted that they do basically a dress rehearsal, almost like a fire alarm drill. And they're like, we're going to do another one of these. He's like, my people will be ready if the worst ever comes. And guess what? Every person that worked for that company survived.
Indeed, yeah.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah.
How about number 9?
Moon landing, yeah. This, you know, you're right, Ron. We learn so much every time we do one of these episodes, and yeah, I can tell you, I don't think the moon landing was fake. I think it was absolutely real. But the pictures,
Capricorn 1.
yeah, right.
Were there doubters?
The OJ movie.
Have you
gotta-
been on the internet? Learning about the Saturn V rocket, that thing was like a bomb on a launch pad. I mean, the power behind that, and I think one of the things we discovered was like, well, if that had exploded, it would have been the equivalent of a small nuclear weapon. I mean, it just loaded with fuel. I mean, you know, amazing. This, Ron, I'll let you take this one. This was, you know, obviously a very important part in history. Yeah.
You know, Abraham Lincoln, even in the midst of war, said, let's appeal to the better angels of our nature. Yeah. He wanted to bring the country together so badly, and yet, you know, it still had not happened. And so the war ends, and his life is lost. And there were so many, you can go through in that particular episode, so many, it's almost mistakes that were made that could have prevented the assassination from happening, but he certainly was lost to the ages.
MLK and the I Have a Dream speech, civil rights movement. To me, this one was a little, I don't know, shocking, I think, when I started digging through the archives and digging through some of the sound from the 60s or 50s and 60s, and I could not, it kind of blew me away how some of the
attitudes.
How so?
The racism
Just totally racist.
was just
Well,
over.
that's what they
It
were
was-
fighting and marching
It
against,
was,
right?
but when you actually,
to
hear
go back and hear
the words of
Yeah.
Bull Connor and of George Wallace, it is shocking.
Startling.
And these pictures are just, I mean, they give me goosebumps looking at these pictures. Just really amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cool part of
number
history.
6 was the inventors, and this was a tough one. We kind of, like John said, look, we have
Oh,
everybody
I like this
from
category. That's where we kind of had to combine a couple things,
Jonas,
right?
everybody from Jonas Salk
Yeah.
with the polio vaccine to, you know, Edison, the light bulb, to
Alexander Graham Bell.
Alexander Graham Bell, and Henry Ford. Come on, he made the automobile sellable at a price that basically nobody else could produce. And you go back to Dearborn, Michigan today, and the Henry Ford Museum, I still say is the greatest museum in America. It's definitely worth visiting to learn about all of these different inventors. We went all the way up to Steve Jobs. Think about it. We're still inventing.
How much was the first Ford back then?
I think $700.
Yeah.
Wow,
Was
nice.
it? Yeah.
How about 5?
Right, brother. You know, this was one of my favorite ones to do, Ron. I learned so much about these guys, and the pictures just, I don't know. I for some reason, this one just stood out. Like, look at these guys just laying on these gliders, and then to learn that they only really went 120 feet. feet. You know, the first flight, it was 8 seconds or something. I
Sure.
can't remember, but how we have in I forget how many years, but we've gone from this to the
in
moon.
about a century.
Yeah.
It's really quite
crazy,
incredible.
amazing. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so
number 4 is
that takes you through
and
on up to number 4.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. This is
Okay.
you.
So I took my kids, Des, one time to Normandy, and I made them wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
I
they
said,
love that trip, huh?
We are. They didn't even complain. I said we are going to be on the beach at 6:30, which is when the Higgins boats first arrived, and all those brave American soldiers, many of whom lost their lives on that day, decided I'm going to step up and be part of the fight against the Nazi scourge across Europe. And it truly is one of the greatest days, D-Day, but one of the greatest accomplishments of the United States. And then we continue through the war in the Pacific all across the span of World War II.
Yeah, and the dropping of the bomb, we had included that in that episode. This one was, for me, really interesting learning about the characters, quite honestly. There's so many characters in the Civil War and in the 19th century, from Jeb Stuart to Stonewall Jackson to Robert E. Lee to Jefferson Davis to George Meade, George McClellan, Abraham Lincoln. I mean, everybody. I mean, the pictures
that photo
are
of him is pretty incredible.
Lincoln, that's a famous
Wow.
picture. Here you go, Jeb Stuart. I mean, that is James Longstreet, actually.
Yeah, there you go with Stonewall Jackson,
Yeah, Robert E.
and
Lee.
Robert E. Lee, all of the characters. It's really quite incredible. My favorite story, Des, was being at Gettysburg the first time. I'm there again at sunrise. A guy comes walking across the field at the high water mark of the Confederacy on day 3, and I start talking to him. He takes every vacation every year, his whole 3-week vacation, and just goes to Gettysburg, and he says, I've been doing it for 20 years, and there's still so much to learn.
Incredible.
This one was a special one. We had a special guest who just
I can't believe we're already out of
We're
time.
out of time.
Look for it on Fox Local.
Yeah, for sure.
We're going to debut number 1.
Yeah, we won't tell you right now.
Okay.
Hi, 12 o'clock.
Welcome on in. And we're going to get things rolling with some breaking news that we're following for you at this noon hour. A strong police presence and a SWAT in a situation unfolding right in Phoenix, 15th Avenue and Indian School Road.
So PD is saying that they heard gunshots. Those were reported. Taylor Wirtz is out there live for us. Right there on the scene. We've got the crime scene tape out there. What do we know?
Yeah, guys, just literally seconds ago as you were tossing us, we heard a very loud bang and we saw smoke. So it's not clear if there's some SWAT activity going on at these gray apartments right next to us. Phoenix police tell us that they were called here this morning for reports of a shooting. We know that no one was hurt, but it's still a very active scene right now with dozens of police vehicles on scene and that SWAT team. Again, that was an extremely loud bang. It pretty much shook the whole street. We were all looking to see exactly what happened, and I did see smoke. So it appears that there is active SWAT activity. Maybe they're trying to draw someone out of those gray apartments right now. We also got some video from Sky Fox just minutes ago. You can see police have blocked off this large stretch of Indian School Road from about 15th to 17th Avenue. We know that officers responded to reports of shots fired around 8 this morning at an apartment complex here. They don't believe anyone was hurt, but say the scene remains active and are asking people to avoid the area. And that's a very good idea because, as I said, we are still hearing loud noises, bangs, and seeing smoke. So if anyone is in this area, I advise you not to come this way. It's not clear right now whether they have anyone in custody, but as I said, the activity seems to be all focused on these gray apartments. Where that activity is, it's still a fluid situation, so once we learn more, we'll be sure to bring that to you. But for now, I'll toss it back to you guys.
Taylor, we're showing the Sky Fox video. I'm not sure if you've seen that or not, but we have a massive, like a tactical van parked like on the grass right there at the door. And then on the streets surrounding it, we're seeing dozens from Sky Fox, dozens and dozens of police cars undercover marked. You've covered these before. Is this typical? Is this what you usually see when you're called out to cover a situation like this?
I'm sorry, the audio is coming across a little distorted. I think you said if this is a normal size for a scene like this.
Yeah. Is this a typical response when we hear, gunshots? They must have some type of information.
Yeah. It appears that they're bringing someone out right now.
Okay.
My photographer Joe's zooming in right now. It's difficult to see from this angle, but it does appear that they are bringing someone out. There could be a resolution to this.
Okay.
We'll just stay on it and get some more video of this guy being led into a police custody. Again, we don't know exactly why they were called to this area to begin with.
Well, initially hearing gunshots and then came out, and obviously there was some type of concern, whether it was to the people or person inside the apartment or to the community itself, because that is why SWAT then came on scene. This is, again, 15th Avenue and Indian School Road. So if you live in that area, you're probably hearing or seeing the activity Taylor was just talking about. She said moments ago when she joined us, so probably like noonish, 12 o'clock, she heard some type of loud bang. That could be the flashbang that they use to get into the door, and then heard the smoke. We've covered these before as well, and I think we're having some audio issues with Taylor too, but the massive response to this, and I think that's the best way to describe it, Ty, is massive.
Yeah, and you saw they had that entire street basically just covered with police vehicles, but it looks like their body posture right now looks a lot more relaxed than we first saw them just a few minutes ago, so it looks like this has come to some sort of conclusion. So again, Taylor is out on scene. She's going to be kind of giving you a final wrap up, and we'll check in with her a little bit later on if she has additional details, if not at later editions of Fox 10.
We want to talk a little bit about the Trevor Project, which is a crisis response program for the LGBTQ plus youth. It is Pride Month, and these are programs that can essentially help save lives. They can really provide people who need a little bit of direction or help with that information.
So we have Jackson Budinger joining us. She is the Senior Director of Communications with the Trevor Project. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us this afternoon.
Thank you, Tiny. Thank you for having me.
So for people that don't know anything about the Trevor Project, just give us a brief rundown. I need to kind of mention some of the amazing things that you do. But for folks that are not familiar with the Trevor Project, what do you do?
Yes, so we are a nonprofit whose mission is to end suicide among LGBTQ young people. We operate in the US and in Mexico. And as Anita mentioned, we do have 24/7 crisis services for any LGBTQ young person who is experiencing a mental health crisis or a suicide crisis. We also operate a bunch of prevention programs. So that includes our research, our advocacy, and those are really designed to tackle the root causes and the systemic challenges that put LGBTQ young people at higher risk for suicide to begin with. So it's those two efforts working in tandem.
Talk a little bit about, if you can, because I'm on your website right now. It says suicide is the second leading cause of death among young people ages 10 years old. That is so young. 10 to 14. Third leading cause of death among 15 to 24-year-olds. And that information is coming from the CDC. It's tough. I mean, 10 years old is so young. The statistics are just startling.
They really are. I think, something else important to mention is that LGBTQ young people in particular are 3 times as likely to consider or attempt suicide than their peers. So we know suicide is a heartbreaking crisis, public health crisis that impacts every single community, regardless of race, creed, socioeconomic status, political party. Suicide is a heartbreaking crisis in this country. And we see LGBTQ young people are an especially at-risk group. In addition to other groups such as veterans. So, and I think on the point about how young some of those young people are, kids are plugged in more than ever today. They're taking in a lot of information from the news, from social media, and they're really seeing a lot of the inner workings of the debates around their existence in a way that past generations did not have to kind of take in all that information. And it really, it applies so much pressure to them. LGBTQ young people are not inherently more prone to suicide. It's the societal and the cultural factors that weigh on them and put them at higher risk.
Can you talk a little bit about those societal pressures that some of the LGBTQI individuals are facing?
Yeah, I mean, they run the gamut. It's everything from, being able to use a bathroom that aligns with your gender identity, what you're allowed to talk about in school, depending on what state you're in. Obviously, there's a lot of difficulty with accessing trans medical care, which can be life-saving for some young people. And then the political rhetoric and the laws. I mean, there's a lot. This is a record-breaking year again for anti-LGBTQ legislation. We're tracking more than 500 bills that have been introduced at the different states across different states that are intending to limit and discriminate against LGBTQ young people. So it's also important to remember it's not just laws being passed that impact their lives and their well-being, but it's the rhetoric, it's the discussion, it's the debate about their existence that they hear day in and day out, and it's a lot to handle. It's already hard to be a young person. I think we all relate to that.
Yeah, especially with social media. Why does a hotline or a phone call or a conversation help? How does something like that potentially save a life?
Yeah, we've heard, I out in the world just hear from so many young people every day that say that the Trevor Project saved their life. Sometimes that's an adult, an LGBTQ adult who called us like 15 years ago. Wow. But it's really hearing a warm adult voice when you are in a moment of crisis and when you feel completely alone. Some young people are lucky to have supportive, affirming communities in their local areas, but some young people just cannot see a future for themselves. And those feelings of hopelessness and darkness, especially in the middle of the night, we get a lot of calls in the middle of the night. Being able to hear someone that affirms who you are and tells you you're going to be okay and sits with you, and safety plans, that really can make a huge difference. It has saved many lives.
Wow. Well, Jackson, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. Can you just give us the website if folks wanted to get more information about the Trevor Project, how they can do that?
Yes, we're at the trevorproject.org. For our crisis services, that's trevorproject.org/gethelp. And you can find us on social media. And again, we're here 24/7, 100% free and confidential for anyone who needs us. And I just want LGBTQ young people to know that you're not alone, even if you feel alone.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Jackson.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
You bet.
Red flag warnings outside. It's going to get windy. Crystal's joining us with a quick peek, and then of course we'll have you back on again. But before the break.
Yeah, and actually going to switch gears. We were going to talk about the winds, but we've got a severe thunderstorm warning, so we're going to start with that.
Wow.
I know we decided to switch it up on you guys while you were doing the interview. This is the view from Fox Vision of the radar satellite imagery, but we'll dive into where that warning is. Now, the good news is that this is not in a very populated area. I checked. There's one location called Wide Ruins under this severe thunderstorm warning. It's in place for another 5 minutes. They might need to extend it, though, a little further to the northeast because it's still holding some strength there. And take a look. There's some lightning with it. I put the tracker on it. Remember, they're an hour ahead of us in Apache County here, so Window Rock by around 2:35. So in about an hour, this storm cell may be able to make it to you. It looks like it's picking up some speed, so it could be an even a little faster time than that as it moves on through. It does have hail. The alert was for at times hail that's up to a quarter size, so that's nearly an inch that we're talking about in terms of the hail size. And you can see the hail tracker showing that cell as it's rolling right over, 191, if you're familiar with that area. So again, if you're in Window Rock, heads up for you. You've got this severe thunderstorm warning that's trekking your way. You're not under the warning right now, but that is moving your direction. Otherwise, most of the state is just looking like a few little showers. There's this line of some sprinkles that are moving through Yavapai County up along the 17.
It's like a perfect line.
Yeah, wow. I know. Isn't that interesting? The mountains will do that sometimes. It's so cool. And then there's a few more showers that we're looking at up towards Loop. I do see a little bit of what's trying to be rotation, but there's not a ton of strength to these cells. So no other severe reports right now, just some clouds, some rain that's moving on in parts of northern Arizona. But this will continue, it looks like, the potential for at least some showery conditions and thunderstorms through the afternoon, but mostly just in eastern Arizona.
Okay.
That's where we're looking at those storm chances hanging on. Oh, I was going to say, what time is our out at?
No, you're good. You got a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where the chances will be the rest of this afternoon. And then by tomorrow, guys, we fully dry out. I did want to at least start talking about the winds, though. This is the view from East Flagstaff. And notice it looks hazy in the distance. It's because of wildfire smoke. The winds are really cranking already, which is a big concern. There's, of course, the red flag warning in place for almost the entire state for the next 3 days because of these winds. And right now, we're gusting to nearly 30 miles per hour in areas like Flagstaff and Snowball, Williams. Grand Canyon's at almost 40, same for Kingman. And out to the east, Springerville as well is gusting to nearly 40 miles per hour. And then there's the look at the red flag warning that's in place for northern Arizona. It's through the next 3 days for gusts 40 to 50, but at times exceeding 50 miles per hour. So we'll talk more about the pocket fire and the sycamore fire at the end of the show.
Okay,
All right,
great. Thank
Crystal,
you.
we appreciate it. We'll be right back. All right, we're already having fun with our next guest, you guys. You are in for a treat. We have Zainab Johnson. She is performing this weekend at Tempe Improv. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
We were just
Oops,
talking
where are
about
you? Hold on.
Oh, where'd you go?
There she is. There you are.
We were just talking about sharing our love for big cities. You're from New York originally. I'm from Chicago. He's from the mountains.
I'm from little tiny town,
Little
Park
town.
City, Utah.
But I've been there.
You have?
Ooh, it gets cold
It
there.
gets very cold.
Colder than Chicago, New York?
Yes.
Different.
Yeah.
Different.
We don't have the humidity, which is nice.
Yeah.
So I feel like in the Midwest and the East, you guys get the humidity with the freezing temperatures, which is a brutal combination.
I think everything has it's like it's hard to fly into Park City.
Yes.
During winter.
We
In
were
Chicago,
just literally talking to one of our reporters.
She flew
who
into
said
Salt
that
Lake.
She almost died.
Yeah, it's so, and in Chicago, walking. Don't let that wind. I took an Uber 2 blocks.
No, you did not.
2 blocks.
No.
I mean, it was tossing me around. My life depended on it.
Listen, if you are dressed for it, it's just like here. When it's 120 degrees outside, you only do certain things outside.
I got here yesterday and I braced myself, even on a plane.
It wasn't that bad.
Because we came from Detroit. Everybody was like, it's going to feel much different when, we flew in from Detroit. It was like, it's going to be much different when we get off this flight. And I braced myself. And when I got outside, I was like,
it's not that bad.
No, it didn't feel that bad.
It's supposed to cool down, too, over the next couple of days. You're going to have a really nice weekend.
I run cold. So
So
when
do
I
you like
fly,
this? That's why I'm in this. I have like tons of sweaters that I'm always wearing.
So I can appreciate this, but you do have to be careful because as much as it might not feel that dire, you have to put on like the proper sunblock.
My birthday's in January, and one year we went to Washington, D.C. for my birthday, and it was like a windshield of negative 105. But we were dressed like head to toe, puffers and everything, and we were like, it's fine.
Okay, I know this is not you guys' department, but what is with the windshield? What is with that? It's like
our meteorologist is over there.
Come on, it's either the temperature or it's not. Like if it feels like it's below 30 outside, it's below 30.
Oh, she's coming over. She's going to school you. Here she comes.
I told her
we
were having a meeting about the noon show, and I said, why don't you sit in when we do our interview?
She did actually say that.
I said that.
I know you're going to ask about the wind chill. No, it's only for exposed skin. So if you dress properly, then
it's fine.
Then the
You're
wind
not
chill
gonna be
doesn't matter.
cold.
But who sees 18 degrees and is like, I'm going to show my skin? Who does that?
Okay, I lived in Philly for 6 years,
Okay.
and people would go
Show
out
their
in
skin.
shorts sometimes in like the craziest weather. They'd be like,
Wait,
you're
am I
going to
allowed
lose
say
a
this
toe.
on TV, white people?
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry, say that.
I'm not going to answer that.
Listen, in Chicago, you might have like a balmy 45-degree day, and people will be in shorts. I'm like,
That's so true.
It's nice outside today.
So I realized, and I mean,
there's no wind chill.
Because there's no wind chill. Now I learned this traveling to. Is it shield or chill? Chill.
I call it a shield.
Yeah,
No.
shield.
Shield is when you're driving in your car.
I know.
You know, I heard her say it twice, but I wasn't going to
say
correct
windshield.
her.
That was nice of you.
That's a joke.
It's fine.
It's a joke.
It's
but I do
fine.
call it that.
So when I travel to like Dubai and like Cairo, or these places
that's
that are
fancy.
notoriously hot, right?
Yeah.
And you realize the people there are all covered, and you're like, oh, it's a religious thing. It's not. It's a sun thing. It's like here, you think that you're supposed to get undressed when the sun is so prominent,
But really?
you're supposed to cover up. Yeah.
Yes. We haven't been able to get that message out to Arizonans, though.
I know. It's okay.
No. I got to work on
Ty
that
likes to
six
take
pack.
his
We're
clothes
definitely
off
not
and
allowed to do that on TV.
Thank you so much for explaining.
So happy to help. It's like the
bugs
hands,
me.
the face, that kind of stuff that the wind chill is for.
Okay.
While she's here, do you have any other meteorological?
Welcome, Holly.
Yeah.
Let me know what else you have.
Do I? When you sweat, I do. Okay, no, wait. Because now we're in hot temperature, right? And a lot of people think like I like to stay still when it's hot. But you know how when it gets hot, somebody will be like, and I'm like, lady, you're making us hotter. You know, like is that a real thing? Like, why do we
fanning
fan?
yourself?
Yeah, fanning.
Oh, okay. Well, so in terms of like. Let's comment with you talking about the sweat.
Yeah.
Sweat helps you because if there is air that helps to
Cool you
remove
off.
it, then that evaporation is actually a cooling process.
Yes.
So as it like lifts off of you, basically. So
I feel like now we in like high school science.
So
right?
I would say like wind does help. Like when there's a
I'm not
little
that
wind,
smart.
it feels a little better. But I mean, if you're the one doing it, then probably you're gonna be overheating yourself doing
But you
it.
know,
So like
even on
maybe-
TV, you know, like whenever it's hot, like the woman has
Like
a fan. It's
they're
like
taking out their fly
Yeah, and I'm like,
is this like old timey shows?
I always heard that was like counterproductive.
Well, if it makes you feel better,
then do it. Okay.
Well, like in Spain, they have like the fans, and they're always fanning each.
Yeah.
Oh, but like the dancing?
No, like the legit. They sell the fans.
And okay, last question.
Okay.
Because the reason why, so we've given you a quiz, right?
I know.
So yesterday when I was telling everybody, because when you get to an extreme temperature place, you can't help but to talk about the temperature, right? And I'm like, it's not that hot as I thought it was going to be, right? That was my sentence to everybody. And they were like, it's because overcast. And so is that a true thing? Like when you're standing directly under the sun, the temperature is hot?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Shaded.
She's like, now I know.
Have you never stood directly under the sun in Arizona?
Shaded areas are like measurably cooler.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's why like parks with a bunch of trees feel way better than just like a big
But it's technically
open
the
area.
same temperature outside.
Yeah, is it?
Well, no, okay.
Like a tennis match.
Clouds versus trees is different. So if it's under a shaded area, no, that spot will be, if you like measure the temperature right there, it would be cooler than like in direct sunlight. But with clouds, everything is going to be whatever temperatures. The cloud just helps slow the warming down a little bit.
I know I'm here for my shows, but forget that. I have another question.
It's a weather lesson.
I have another question. So on the weather app, this is the last one I'll ask.
No, we're all learning.
On the weather app, you know how it'll say 30% chance of rain.
Here it comes.
I recently heard that it's not like a 30% chance of rain, but in that area will get 30% of that area will receive the precipitation.
Yeah, so to be fair, different forecasters do this differently, so this makes it hard. But a lot of what I have always gone with is my level of confidence and my level of coverage. So like in the valley, if I go with a 10% chance, I feel pretty confident somewhere is going to get it, but I don't think it's going to be very much of the area. So it's like an isolated chance.
You're
is
10% confident that there will be rain?
No, I'm saying I'm like almost 100% confident we're going to get something, but I think it's going to be a sprinkle, and it's almost impossible to say where a sprinkle is going to fall. So I'm going to give it a 10% chance because I don't think there's going to be a lot of coverage. Versus I might think, I'm not sure because it's 5 days out, so I'm only like 40% confident it's going to happen. But if it does happen, it's going to pour, then maybe you only get a 20-40% chance of rain because it's further out and my confidence isn't as high. So as we get closer, hopefully then I can either improve or drop that chance.
I'm going to sound so stupid, but and then how do you know that? What do you go outside and like?
She knows.
Like this, like
what
that.
are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what's
yes,
happening?
I just go outside and I sense it.
Are you like weather psychic? Like what? Like tell me, please explain to me. I'm telling you, I may never have the opportunity for this.
Business cards to say weather psychic on them.
Please tell us. We want to know.
That's your new title.
We're gonna have to sit after the show, and I'll show you some of my computer models, and we'll walk through the models, and I'll show you.
It's science.
She's a meteorologist / weather psychic.
While we have you here, do you want to go over? We have some talkers that we have.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Do you want to talk about Travis and what's her name?
Kelsey.
Travis, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey.
I love how you forgot that though. That's surprising.
No, but the rumors are swirling about their wedding at Madison Square Garden. Now, you're originally a New Yorker.
Yeah.
What is your take on this?
If anybody's going to have a wedding at Madison Square Garden, I can totally see it being Taylor Swift. I don't know why she would want to, though, because neither her nor her fiance are from New York.
Right.
It seems like seems like Spike Lee should have done that.
I feel like it's like fake. They're just getting the license because they can pay for the license.
Yeah.
And they're just making
everybody
everyone
out.
they're faking everyone out, making them think there's something happening there, and then they're going to be like in Maui on the cliffside getting married.
Ooh, I could see that.
So that the paparazzi is all like
not bugging them.
Right.
Yeah.
They're all. We still have paparazzi?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to be there waiting for them at Madison Square Garden. They're not going to be thinking it's somewhere else.
I mean, that's a pretty pricey trip.
Ruse,
She has
right?
they all
but
have the money.
They do have the money.
Maybe
but
they gave it to them for free. Nothing was happening that day anyway, so they just like, here's the paper.
Take the Madison Square Garden.
so they're just going to pay a whole staff at a
Have you ever been to MSG?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
I've
never been
actually
there.
played at MSG as
Stop.
a basketball player when I was in high school.
Really?
Yeah, when I was in high school, I was a freshman in high school. Our team won the city championship, and when you win the city championship is played at Madison Square Garden before you go
fun.
upstate to play
Oh, that's
you know,
cool.
like the Sue Birds of
So
it
what
all
was
back
that like
then.
to be at MSG?
You know, I missed the free throw.
Oh.
And
Did the team lose because of
no,
you?
we won. We
okay,
won.
okay.
We went to the state.
I didn't know
But
how bad it got.
I was a freshman on the varsity team, and so I wasn't supposed to get any playing time. And so when it was clear that we were winning, they then sent the freshmen in,
no.
and I got fouled, and I got to go to the free throw line. So that means I had the camera, the MSG camera on me. I should have made those shots. And then when I got home, everybody was like, "You missed the free throw." So I was like, I know.
Better luck next time.
Like, I'm going to be a teacher instead.
Yes.
Which is a whole other topic.
Yeah, you were a teacher.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be like a high school math teacher. I mean,
Oh.
Wait, so you
life's
are
not
smart.
over.
You're really smart. You know math and science.
I
then?
do, but just not weather.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Math?
Yeah.
That was my
hard.
worst
Yeah, if
subject.
she would have been like, "What's a hot day plus another hot day?" I would have been able to tell you like an even hotter day, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can do math.
Funniest thing that ever happened to you in the classroom?
Oh.
As a teacher?
Yeah,
Yeah.
or
Or as a
yeah,
student.
let's say teacher.
I think you kind of lose your sense of humor as a teacher. I'm kidding. I don't know if I can think of anything that was super funny.
You know, you
but
always have those students who do something where you're trying to not laugh at them, but really it was funny.
Yeah. I remember having thoughts that I should probably never say out
Loud.
you know, but definitely, I don't know, you know, I was teaching, I actually never taught high school, but one year when I was teaching seventh grade, seventh grade adolescents, the world is very small for them. And to try to get them to understand how this is like the most minuscule part of the rest of your life. Like if you peak here, that's bad. You know what I'm saying? You know, to get them to understand that was very difficult.
I bet.
Yeah.
Well, we should mention real quick while you're still here, Friday today, you're playing at 7 and 9:30 at the Tempe Improv, and then Saturday, 6:30 and 9 o'clock, and then again on Sunday. Man, they've got you all weekend.
I know, working me like it's 100 and something. No, I'm sorry. But yeah. But I look forward to it because I love my job.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Well, you
thank
can
you.
tell that you like your job.
Thanks.
You've been fun. All right, she's gonna do weather one more time. So
okay.
stay here. You can watch. You can watch a professional. Well, I wish we had that. I wish
it doesn't work like that.
No,
You're not
I
that
wish
far from She does stand at a weather wall or green wall. You're so right.
Honestly, it was the right idea. It was the right idea. Okay, so real quick, guys, just because we do have the sycamore fire and the pocket fire burning, this is a look at the wind gust forecast as we move forward. Gusts around 30 miles per hour this afternoon, but again tomorrow afternoon, and then even into Sunday afternoon. This is for the sycamore fire in Gila County, and then if you take a look, the pocket fire